Welcome to the latest episode of the In My Shoes podcast. My name is Natalie Villanueva, and I'm thrilled to be the guest host for today's episode in honor of Caribbean American Heritage Month. During Caribbean American Heritage Month, we celebrate the achievements and dreams of the millions of people of Caribbean origin now living in the U.S. while honoring the shared history and joy of perseverance that has united and enriched the lives of many across the country. My family came from Cuba over 60 years ago, escaping the Cuban government, leaving their homes and coming to this country where they didn't speak the language, they didn't have any family or friends, and were able to build such a wonderful life here. And like their story, there's just so many other wonderful stories that are similar to the successes of Caribbean Americans living in the U.S. today. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our amazing speakers. We have Ronique Williams-Stewart, who is a trust coordinator in the accounting team in our Cypress Creek office, and Evans Jean Charles, who is a training specialist in the firm's downtown Fort Lauderdale office. Welcome, Ronique and Evans. We're so grateful to have you here with us sharing more about your Caribbean heritage. All right, so we'll start with Ronique. Ronique, tell me a little bit about your heritage and your family's heritage.
Okay, so I was born in Jamaica, not Kingston, like most people say. I was born in the parish of St. Thomas, which is on the eastern tip of Jamaica. We migrated to New York in 1996. Yeah, so we're Jamaican.
Wow, it's amazing. I love Jamaica. It's a beautiful place, beautiful beaches, beautiful music and food and all of that. So it's such a great place to visit.
Yeah, so I'm Haitian. My parents both were born in Haiti, and specifically Okap, which is the old capital, which is now called Cap Haitian, if you would. And I guess both of my parents came here probably a while ago, probably right around where I was born, around 1985, around that time. Everything, pretty much what I do revolves around my culture, from the foods that I eat, from the way that I think, and different things within that nature is heavily modified by Haitian culture. So, I guess we could get into some of the mixes and about the Haiti and stuff like that in a bit.
Absolutely. So you were born here and then your family moved here before you were born?
Yeah, funny enough. So interestingly enough, my family moved, well, at least my mother and my father moved to America. Most of my family were still in Haiti. And at 6 months, because I was born here, at 6 months, they sent me to Haiti. And interestingly enough, I spent 4 years there. And after I came back to America for school, and I didn't know a lick of English. So I'm born here, but technically my first language is Creole, which is Haitian Creole.
Yeah, similar. My first language is actually Spanish, which is shocking because mine is not that amazing now. But growing up, I grew up in Miami, and, a lot of the people who were taking care of me and my grandparents pretty much, exclusively spoke Spanish. So that was my first language. But it's funny, as you start school, English just becomes the number one thing. And as kids, we learn it so quickly. But it's such a great thing to have kind of those second languages or even third languages. And I think that's one of the great things about being Caribbean and everything about it, the cultures, the traditions. So we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit. So for the next question, I'll start with you, Evans. Is there any favorite Caribbean dishes or foods that take you back to your roots?
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's quite a few, but one that sticks out to me specifically is legume, right? So legume, think about it. It's kind of like a thick Haitian vegetable soup, if you would, and it's usually eaten with some kind of rice, whether it's white rice or what I call black rice, which is kind of Dijon, if you would, which is kind of like I guess you could say like a mushroom type of rice. And legume, again, it's a thick vegetable soup, and it's made of different things like eggplant, spinach, carrots, different kind of cabbages, chayotes, watercress, and it's kind of like stewed, a very slow stew, if you would. And it tastes delicious. It's absolutely delicious. And they mix it with different things, mainly kind of Afro-Caribbean type of spices, if you would, just like a combination of like some of your bases. You have your onions, you have your garlics, but then you have your bell peppers, and then you have Maggi and a few other different Caribbean bases. So legume definitely sticks out to me. I just can't get enough of it, and it's part of me.
For our South Florida folks, is there anywhere locally that we can get this?
Yes. So there's two places specifically that I could think of. So if you're in Fort Lauderdale, there's a place called Alberti's, right? And Alberti's, I think it's located on Dixie Highway and 38th Street. It's right by Kombucha, or I think it's something like that, right? And so yeah, you could get it from there. It's called Alberti's, and it's in Fort Lauderdale, Oakland Park, if you would. But if you're in anywhere in Miami, my favorite is going to be Chef Creole. And so you could just type that out. It's really famous. If you Google Chef Creole, you'll be able to see
familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now going to be making those pointers so I can visit sometime soon. All righty, Ronique, how about you? Any dishes or food that takes you back?
Yes, and I just wanted to add, because I was a little winded in the beginning, if it's okay, where Evans went on to explain about how he was born here, but he went back home. It seems to be like an island tradition for people to send their kids back home to be raised. But I was born in Jamaica, but I came here, and I'm a bit what they call in my family Americanized. So like, I know Natalie said that her Spanish is really bad. So, we speak Patois in Jamaica, but our main language is the Queen's English. I've always been Queen's English. So like, if you ask me to speak Patois, I would probably laugh at you and say, please leave me alone. But just wanted to add that tip there. I'm a bit on the other side of Evans. So I'm with the traditions and everything, but when it come on to like speaking like them, I'll play around, but no, don't embarrass me. But anyway, as far as food goes, my favorite food is stewed peas. We mainly make that. It's kind of like a stew, but it's made with like coconut milk. Of course, all of the island spices that we use. A lot of people use pigtail and stuff like it, but for the ones that don't eat like pork, they'll use like the smoked turkey neck, beef, anything, chicken. We eat that with white rice. That's my favorite dish. And another dish that I love the most is curry goat. I live for that. So those are my favorite dishes. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had any of those, but top tier.
Of course.
But those are my favorite dishes. If you really want to win me over, bring me some of that. I mean, when I'm not on a diet, of course, but yeah.
One of my favorites is Jamaican beef patties. I literally like have them in my freezer. Again, when I'm on a diet, I try not to eat them, but they're such a good little snack.
Try Taste Right, which is off of McNabb in 81st. Best flaky, closest to like best Jamaican patty you've ever had.
Any other Jamaican spots that are popular here in South Florida?
Of course, Donna's. Donna's is like one of the favorite spot. But if I'm going to go to like, I would say like a smaller business, I would try Roots Bar. It's in the area of McNabb and University. It's in that plaza over there. I can't even remember what's right beside it, but if you look it up, it's called Roots Bar Cafe. Yeah, highly recommend it. And they have great brunch, of course, Jamaican style.
We'll we'll try it. I love all of these foods. All right. So for our next question, do you have any unique Caribbean sayings or expressions that you find yourself using regularly? I know in Cuban, a lot of people know the bad words, but there's a couple other different sayings. We say like "que vola," which is "what's up," and there's a bunch of others. But Ronique, anything in Jamaica that are kind of sayings or expressions that you hear frequently?
So this is where it comes into play of I feel like I sound stupid, but I just know one thing that like a lot of people express them by saying like, oh my gosh, like stuff like that. Like if something like out of the ordinary happens, just one thing that I would say and not sound too stupid, you'd be like, no, sir. Like that's kind of be like, oh my gosh, but like for us, like it's unbelievable in a sense.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to leave you guys with because I don't want to be the laughing stock of this conversation.
No, that sounded good to me. Evans, what about you?
I think for me, you know how like you have you're in your parents' home and everybody remembers this, and there's something that your parents just always said to you. And for some reason, I'm a very, very curious person, and I ask hundreds of questions to get the answer that I want. And, with my curiosity, sometimes I'll get myself into trouble. And one thing my parents used to say is "wap kon judge," right? And what that basically means, okay, so this is the thing. The direct translation versus what it actually means are two different things. And I know you guys have experience with that, right? So if you're multilingual, you'll find that the direct translation sometimes don't make any sense. So the direct translation is more like "you'll get to know George," right? "Wap kon judge." But what does that mean exactly? And so what it basically means is that it's kind of like, okay, keep playing and you'll see what happens. Or kind of like, all right, you'll find out soon, so "wap kon judge." And sometimes if you really think about it, you ask, who is George? And that's always been like the curious question, like, who is George? What does this mean? Like every single time I'm about to get in trouble or like getting my hands dirty or about to do something dangerous and I hear "wap kon judge," that's my first question. Who is George? And when I went to go look it up, what it's saying is that in 1998, and listen, this is kind of like it started off with like a bad term, but it kind of turned into something that, we could use like as a joke and kind of funny term. But it started off in 1998. Hurricane George actually hit the Caribbean and it devastated a lot of different places, from Haiti to Cuba and a whole bunch of different places over there. And it just kind of, put a lot of people out of their homes. And so the term kind of came from, hey, if you keep playing around, you'll get to know George, which is like kind of Hurricane George. And it just kind of turned into more of like a funny kind of term, like "wap kon judge." So that's something I always used to hear from my parents. Yeah.
Love it. That's awesome. George. I'm going to tell it to my boyfriend every time. He always likes to get in trouble. So I'm going to start using that on him.
That's Curious George right there.
Who's George?
Yeah. Curious. All righty. So next question, Evans. Is there any funny stories or memorable family experiences or traditions that showcase the lively spirit of the Caribbean culture?
That's a great question. And when I hear this question, it's like my mind just goes to so many places that I can't put my finger on something, right? But what I think about is for sure the Haitian culture, and you may see it in the French culture too. When we greet you, like let's say if I walk into a home and my Haitian parents are there, or even, even if it's a friend that just so happened to be a Haitian and there are women there, I have to go around and I have to kiss every single woman that's there on the cheek. You know what I mean? And it's just like kind of like a Haitian tradition. When you see someone or you see like a Haitian parent or something like that, you go into their home, you see them, you greet them with a kiss on the cheek, and you better not miss not one woman, you know what I mean? And of course, you shake the hands of the men and different things within that nature for a man. And for the woman, if you're a woman, then you would kiss everyone. It's just like kind of like a tradition, right? So that's more of the culture. But something a little bit more funny I think it's more in my family. The tradition inside of my family itself is like, usually we'll have like family get-togethers, or not big ones, just like, hey, I'm coming over to your home. I'm going over to my uncle's house and he has my nieces and cousins and different things within that nature over there. And when you go over there, you have to be on guard. Right. The reason being is because the moment you go to sleep, just know that you're going to have makeup on your face. You know what I mean? You're going to be looking pretty in the morning time. So usually it's like you fall asleep and they get like powder, they put it on your face, and you're supposed to take a picture, and it's usually more than one person, and then they put it in the family photo, and as much as you fight it, the one thing that's inevitable when you go over there is that you have to get sleep. You know what I mean? And so I always get caught. So that's my little story and tradition in the family. Yeah.
Love it. How about you, Ronique?
Traditions, like I said, I left there permanently when I was 8. So I could just think of the things that we still incorporate here that I know they do back there. Every event, they have to have goat head soup to die for. But it's kind of like at every event, whether it's a party, whether it's like a cookout, it's kind of like a signature staple that we have to have. And I know most islands, or probably even people do this, but coming into the new year, everything has to be changed. Curtains has to be changed in the house. Curtains, bedspread, everything's new. You're like changing it out for the new. I don't know if Evans does that as well with his household, but I know like a lot of other island or Caribbean islands, the people that I know, they do that same thing. But those are just two things that stand out for me. I'm sure there's a lot more that I probably don't remember, but those are the ones that stand out to me the most, especially the goat head soup.
We in Cuba, well, it's not really in Cuba, just here, like in Miami, we have like a joke of like the Cuban goodbyes. Like Evan said, like you have to go kiss every single person. Well, for us, like we just kiss everybody that's there, like goodbye. And by the time you know it, it's taking you 30 minutes to say goodbye after you said, you were going to leave like 30 minutes ago. So that's kind of our little tradition. And then we also celebrate, instead of celebrating like Christmas really big, we do Nochebuena, which is Christmas Eve. We have like the big wood box, which is called the cajachina, where we roast a pig, and we have all these delicious Cuban sides. I love going to my grandma's for this because she's the best cook. And it's just a big party. We celebrate, we eat, celebrate the holiday. So that's kind of one of our traditions in the Cuban culture regarding different stories and all that. So. All right. So the next or last question we have here. I know in Cuba, we have a lot of different superstitions. One of the main ones is, if you are, sitting down and somebody's brooming, that the broom cannot touch your feet or else you might not get married. So, the other day I was actually in a room and some lady was like brooming around me. And every person, every female, at least in the room, put up their feet so fast to make sure that their feet were not swept because we don't want to not get married. Evans, any different superstitions or beliefs that you guys have in Haiti?
First of all, that's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. With you just find every person just lifting up their feet while they sleep under it. That's awesome. Yeah, we do have for sure. Like Haiti is highly rich in culture and music and different things within that nature, and you hear different sayings, or I guess you would say proverbs, right? So Haitians, they have a term, like they speak in many proverbs, where like they'll speak a proverb and sometimes you don't understand it until you sit down and you're like, that's what that proverb means. And I guess as far as a superstition or belief, so this is going to sound crazy, I don't know if you could imagine it, right? So there's a saying, if there's a little kid in your house, right? So let's say if you have like, you have a son or you have a daughter, and if they stand up, right? And just try to imagine this. If they stand up on their feet and then they bend down completely to where their head is facing behind them, right? So basically they're looking between their legs. If you ever see a kid doing that, you have to immediately stop him, because the belief is that he is actually calling for other brothers and sisters to come into this world too. So it's like, I'm looking behind me to kind of see like who else is coming, you know what I mean? You have to immediately stop them. So that's just kind of like a belief that the Haitians have, yeah.
It's a belief that they'll have more kids, like more siblings, like the kid will have more siblings.
Exactly. It's like that son is calling for more siblings to come. Like, hey, it's party time. You guys need to be here. You know what I mean? And so that means that usually there's another kid on the way, or another, daughter or son on the way. They're just calling for others,
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. If I was like a mom of like 7, I'd be like, you better stand up straight.
That's hilarious.
Ronique, how about you? Any superstitions or beliefs that you grew up hearing about?
It's so funny. I can add to that, but it's funny that the one that Evan said and you said is something that I have definitely heard a lot, and especially it has happened with my kids, and I'm like, hey, cut it out. No one has time for that. But I know that one, like we have several that relate to like pregnancy. You have like if a lizard jumps on you, or if we dream of fish, or if someone gets a boil, it's like, okay, who's pregnant? So those are ones. And I know our next one, like if we break a glass in a home or anything like that, we're like, like they think it's like getting rid of crosses, which is our way of saying like getting rid of like bad luck or bad juju or stuff like that. So you immediately want to like, you're kind of sad that the glass broke, but you're relieved, like whatever that was, it's gone now and we're going to throw it out.
Love that. I just thought of one more. I think it's a Caribbean thing because I have some Puerto Rican friends that have done it, that on New Year's Eve, like once the clock strikes 12, you get a suitcase and like you go around in circles. I don't remember exactly what it is, but you go around with the suitcase to make sure that you have a lot of travel throughout the year or something like that. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
I haven't heard of it, Natalie, but I think maybe I'll try that this year so I can start traveling and not be a Staples.
Yes, definitely. Get that suitcase, girl. December 31st. Get that suitcase.
Yes, I'm going to be like, hey, picture Natalie, suitcase in hand.
I need to try it too. Definitely need to try that. But yeah, that was another one. I remember a couple of my Puerto Rican friends were doing. I was like, hey, this is going to be what I need to do for next year. Awesome. Well, that was the last of my questions. I appreciate both of you being here so much. It was so great to hear more about each of your stories and both, about the Haitian and Jamaican heritages. So there's such amazing cultures. And so, as well as all of the other Caribbean countries. If there's anything else, Evans or Ronique, anything else you guys want to close with?
Yeah, sometimes I guess I could give a little bit more about the visual of, Haiti. I think Haiti itself is just surrounded by false imagery and different things within that nature. And let me tell you guys what Haiti means to me. So for me, it's like Haiti was the first Black republic, right? In 1804, they were the first Black republic in the world. And so, which means that we have a very heavy fighting spirit, you know what I mean? And being the first Black republic in the world, there's also other countries that we reached out to help liberate, right? So we helped Venezuela liberate themselves from the Spaniards, Dominican Republic, which just so happens to be on the same island that we are, in the island of Hispaniola, and Grand Colombia, and different things within that nature. And so, with that being said, with the culture and the spirit, a lot of the things that we do and a lot of the fighting spirit within us comes from, that background with our ancestors. And when I go to Haiti, what I see is different heavy African French culture with like the indigenous Taino traditions. And I see beautiful beaches. I see different things like a lot of rainforest, very lush rainforest, cascading mountains. And I think Haiti is, if I'm actually positive, Haiti is the most mountainous region in the Caribbean. So there's so much beautiful things about Haiti and just the culture, how it's rich in music and how it's rich in like different artistic things and art and different things within that nature. It's just a great country to research and try to understand the people. It's just so rich. So that's what Haiti means to me. And I guess that's why I have the fighting spirit in me. Yeah.
I love that. I love embrace your culture. It's so important to do that, and I try my best. I know it's hard. I'm kind of the same way of being Americanized like Ronique, but I do definitely have kind of that background in the Caribbean and Cuban, and it's still such a big part of me, even though I am kind of Americanized. It will always be, part of who I am. So Ronique, anything else for you?
Yes, definitely, Natalie. So that's what I wanted to say. Like, while I get a lot of slack for being so Americanized, my day in, day out is everything Jamaican. Like, I even had a friend say to me the other day, like there's no denying that you're Jamaican because you eat some foods that are that you don't eat every day. Like, so I grew up in the country part of Jamaica. So a lot of people see like the all-inclusive hotels and all of that stuff. But to me, that stuff is watered down. I do encourage people, if you go to Jamaica, or if you know someone there, try to go to the countryside and really embrace the culture. And the last time I went back to Jamaica back in October, I went with a friend, which is a parish that is closer to mine. And just walking, not being toted around, you just walking and embracing with nature. I took my shoes off and I walked for a while and they were all looking at me, of course, because I'm so Americanized. She's really, because I grew up in the countryside, but I think more of the culture is outside of those resorts and stuff. I mean, I too need to get a little bit deeper into it, but I do encourage everyone not to look at the cover up of what they show on the brochures. Just try to get in with the culture, buy from one of the side street cook shops and stuff like that. I feel like they would have a greater experience with Jamaica.
For sure. I feel like you get the true experience, just like when you visit anywhere, once you hit those touristy spots, it becomes a little bit too commercialized. When you get out of those areas, you see the true essence of these cultures and these countries. And that's how you can really experience and get to know more about them. So
right. And Jamaica is known for the coffee, the Blue Mountain. So, for all my coffee lovers, check that out.
Definitely. We'll have to do that. But again, thank you both so much. I really appreciate you joining us. It was great to chat and again, get to know more about, your countries and kind of your experiences growing up. So have a great day and thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.